There are different buckets when it comes to holding the ball. Tonight's bucket is full of chicken wings. It looks like Footy's submission move. You can't get out of it, you can't get away without getting penalised. But is that the actual law, or is it a stray interpretation at play right now? Ray Chamberlain and I were building this, and then when there was a set of them on the previous round, Razor's Edge, welcome.
Jared, Gary,
Razor.
how we doing?
Good, mate. Good. What do you got for us?
The presence of the word if in the laws.
Not again.
Go
Yeah,
on.
you love it. There
out.
are two letters that are powerful for Gaz.
Lay it out and then we're getting to it.
Well, we've been talking about a whole lot. You want to unpack the rule at the season's end, so I've been doing some due diligence, and there are two parts in my ponderings that have come up, and this one around holding the ball where you haven't had a prior opportunity and you're legally tackled. What are the responsibilities of all the stakeholders, right? And I want to walk through a couple of examples to illustrate the difference between what the law states in its written form, as opposed to what the umpires are being asked to implement on the field, Gary, which will send you off. But we're in the same camp.
So this is like in the Castle where he goes, on just terms. So the phrase is, if the player is able to.
And it's there in the written form, right?
I've just written that down.
Yeah.
Good.
So you're saying that it's written there, but they certainly don't have to do it.
Well, watch this space. I'm going to you've got a couple that are just for you.
All right,
I've prepared them for you.
So James Sicily, this got pushed right under the radar when Sicily knew that he had to try, and in his endeavours to try, he put the ball on the ground.
So in this instance here, no prior opportunity, legally tackled. And so now what the law states is, in this circumstance, is if Sicily is able to, he must make a genuine attempt to dispose. Now, the way the interpretation is taught to our umpires currently is you'll see that the ball is not pinned. And so they say, you've got an arm free, throw it at your boot. Now, there are some examples that we'll see where that's OK. But what I'm suggesting is there are examples here where clearly the player is unable to make a genuine attempt. And so what I'm asking is, well, why is that holding the ball, Jared?
So
here's another example. No prior, legally tackled,
ground.
Ball pinned in one, got one arm free, he's got a leg lock like Alex Volkanovski on his legs, and he can't throw it at his foot. And the umpire correctly, as they're being instructed now, awards holding the ball on field. And what I'm saying is the laws in black and white say if the player is able to,
and
they must make
a... He's clearly not able to.
Clearly unable to. And so I just don't understand what the premise is behind this interpretation and application on field. This is your favourite.
No possibility in the world of being able to try to attempt of that ball.
He could have thrown that behind his head and kicked it with his back heel.
So what you need to be is a contortionist.
Well,
and I give you...
Isaac Rankin. So the example of where the players are incredibly gifted and they are able to comply in areas that us three probably wouldn't, is in this next example here. So Rankin legally tackled, Dangerfield shows great care, doesn't dump him, and because he's able to get his feet free...
Tears his cruciate ligament.
And this is the point.
But got the kick away.
And this is the point, right? So my whole premise around this, Gary, is that this interpretation not only is incongruent in terms of the balance of the law, whether you've had prior or not, it also, in my view, increases the player's risk of injury. And so that's my concern around the way in which it's being implemented currently.
So now, no prior, taken to ground, no possibility of being out, just ball that up. These are the ones where free kicks can and should be paid.
Correct, because the second part of this rule talks about a genuine attempt, right? So don't be doing the floppy fish or pretending that it's all pinned or what have you. So no prior opportunity, legal tackle, ball not pinned clear and free. Newcombe wants to fight through, can't, and so he looks for secondary stoppage. He can throw that ball at his boot, no drama at all, and a genuine attempt is all he has to do.
Did they pay free kick there?
No, in fact, they balled this up, so they're wrong on both counts on this one. So that was an incorrect implementation of the laws in this instance. The interpretation currently says pay holding the ball here.
So if he was able to, he is able to.
And so therefore he should, and the same here with McCluggage, right? So he's got an arm free, he's fighting the tackle of Pendlebury, and the laws say you are able to throw that ball down towards your foot, have a crack at that.
And if he misses his foot?
Play on.
As long as he's legitimately having a...
Genuine attempt.
So we want holding the ball there, and then one more.
And then, Gary, this is a legitimate question because I haven't played the game, right? So the next one's Lipinski. OK, now I hold the view that holding the ball is fine here. I think he is able to. My question to you is, in that circumstance where Close is tackling him and pulling him back towards him, is he at risk if he gets on one foot and tries to kick it?
Yeah, he is.
And by virtue of that,
So
then ball up's fine.
his answer would be to the umpire, yes, I was able to, but I also might have knocked myself out in the process.
And therein lies the balance of it, right? So for me, definitely when they're on the ground, pinned, unable to do anything, the player is unable to make a genuine attempt. I don't understand why ball up isn't okay. And then in these circumstances here where they're on their feet, I think it's more reasonable to suggest that they attempt to kick the ball.
So the one arm pinned and ball hand free is almost our trigger to say, no, he's got the hand free, therefore he should be able to. But if he's not able to, according to this, it's a ball up.
Correct. And what happens with the ball free, because the ball's not pinned in the tackle, that's why the umpires go, well, I'm not balling it up, it's not pinned, make a genuine attempt. That's fine if the player is able to. So there's no need to change the rule. It's beautifully written. We need to change the interpretation and have highlighted, is the player able to? And then it's incumbent upon the player to make the genuine attempt when they are.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable, but it does take some understanding and interpretation on the run, and also identifying the capability of the player.
So who's making the choice here, Ray? Where's the instruction coming from? Almost to step over that phrase and pay holding the ball against the player on the ground.
With all of the interpretations that are delivered to the umpires, and they're just an instrument on field of the footballing department of the AFL. So you've got trends of the game where former players and coaches and key stakeholders are involved in certain things. The reason and the premise behind holding the ball here is to keep the ball in motion. They don't want repeat stoppage.
Right, so we've got to go. But so it would be if Lipinski, for instance, the umpire comes back and says, listen, I know you had the arm free, but in my mind, if you had tried to kick that, you might have hurt yourself, therefore we're going to play ball up. I think that's acceptable.
And so that's the question. Yeah.
I think that's acceptable.
Do we think we should change this interpretation on field? I do believe that the player on the ground definitely ball it up, and then I think it's a case-by-case basis when the player's on their feet.
All right, let's get some change in policy on just terms. I love it, Ray. Well done.
Thanks,
nice,
guys.
Bit of Razor's edge around the chicken wing.